All right, Chase. Well, I'm excited to talk with you here about one of the favorite topics in custom home building, which is the price. How much is this house going to cost? Is this a question that you hear pretty commonly?
All the time. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
And just like when somebody comes in looking for a custom home, the pricing is custom as well. And just the same way the house kind of fluctuates, oftentimes the price fluctuates, and there's lots of unknowns and uncertainties and ups and downs through the process. So yeah, I definitely hear a lot about that. And it's a hot topic when you're building a custom home.
So you hit on, the changes that you make in the house or the design, the plan are kind of tied to the price. Of course, I think of them as like two ends of the same rope. And so if someone wants to know a price, they kind of need to know the plan, but sometimes they don't know their plan until they know the price, right? So there's this interdependency. Is that something you see a lot of times, and how does that play out?
Yeah, definitely. Oftentimes people come in with some big vision or think they want this but don't really know what it's going to cost, or they've maybe even spent money initially to design a plan that maybe is out of budget, sometimes even under budget. It's like, oh, wow, I could spend more than that, and we were trying to be really budget conscious, and I could have got those other things we wanted. So it can go both ways, really. But there's a lot of uncertainty at the front end, and throughout the build there's a lot of uncertainty. Once you get into building a custom house and you've got all these decisions and options to be made, there's so many things like, oh, I really would like to have that. No, that actually is important to me, and I don't really want to have to do that 3 years from now. I'd rather do it now. And it can change things pretty significantly depending on what the decision to be made is. So yeah, it's definitely from the start all the way to the finish something that's a hot topic in the custom building world.
So I'd like to just hit on some of the maybe gotchas or things to watch out for, when folks are trying to price their home. So I know some of the things we've talked about before are, just hearing a wide range of prices. You might hear some that are really low if they go and talk to multiple builders. You might hear some that are really high. I mean, what are some things they should watch out for there?
Yeah, I mean, I can make numbers look really pretty on the front end, and not that we'd want to do that, but you can make a house fit most budgets. I mean, within parameters. You can't make a $500,000 house be $200,000, but there's things that you can have. There's a lot of things behind the walls and under the slab, and the way that dirt is prepared, and structurally that you need to be really careful with. You make sure that the right kind of wood's being used, the right kind of concrete preparation is being done. The right thickness of sheetrocks, the right level of wiring is being done. And there's areas that can be cut to bring price points down, but then you're going to end up with a product that you don't like. I also can make a budget look a certain way based on allowances. If somebody's got a really nice picture in their mind of type of plumbing and lighting fixtures and appliances they want to use, and I just say, oh yeah, we can take care of that, and I give them this really low end budget, they're not going to get the product that they want at the end of the day. So there's lots of things that if somebody's working through, they need to ask questions, or the builder should walk them through these questions to help them really understand what do you get and what are the specifications on that price point. Because that price point could say one thing but not be what that customer's got in mind.
And does that happen too with, do you ever hear of stories where folks are just, they know they're offering a lower price and they can't really build it for that price, but kind of what?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, there's lots of, what I said, the bad apple ruins the whole thing. There's bad apples out there for sure in all industries, and I think sometimes us contractors can get that bad rap for people who do it the wrong way, and they're trying to make this bid look really good, and they're trying to get the customer's business, and then at the end of the day, they create a bad product, they create a bad relationship, they create bad stories about them. So I think absolutely there's guys who do it on purpose, and there's also guys who make the mistake of doing it too. I've made mistakes where I've accidentally underbid something, not realizing and asking the right questions for that. Oh, they didn't want that kind of flooring. They wanted this kind of flooring. I didn't bid it right. That was a mistake. Do we do that regularly? Absolutely not. And we try to have things in place to eliminate those kind of mistakes. But it could be done on purpose, no doubt. So people need to be careful for that.
So what are the kind of pricing models that people might encounter, that they might find out there? And how might they, in the case of a mistake, how do the different pricing models play out?
Some pretty typical pricing models you'd see would be something be called a flat cost. I'm going to build your house for $500,000 or your project for $500,000. And then in that scenario, the builder's committing to something. They're signing a contract and they're going to build it for this price. That builder's probably got a lot of margin in there to make sure he's taken care of and doesn't miss the mark and is out of his own pocket for the thing. In that model, I mean, it can be done really well, but there's also some things to watch out for, and I could dig into that. I won't go into the details of that. Another, what you call a cost plus, so a cost plus a percentage on top of that. That's pretty common in our industry. One reason I'm not a fan of it is because every single dollar more that customer spends, I make a percentage more on that. So if they trying to decide between a $10,000 light fixture and a $5,000 light fixture, it's incentivized for them to choose the $10,000 light fixture because I make a little more money there.
And wouldn't that feed into also what you were just talking about, where if somebody offers a lower price and then gets paid more with changes, then once the build starts, now all of a sudden the price starts coming up and they also get paid more. So now they're, regardless of how honest they are, they have a motivation to do that, to
Correct.
Actually bid lower than it might actually, at least lean lower.
Yeah, even if they're not doing it for the wrong reason, I mean, just naturally they would incentivized for it to cost more.
Mm-hmm.
And then another model is a cost plus a flat fee. So that's actually how we work. So we estimate your cost to build. We have a flat fee, going in day one, what we are going to charge. And then we're your friend and your advocate and your partner in the thing. And no matter if the house goes up or down or whatever, we stay the same and what we're going to get for being your partner in the project. And it's a very transparent way of doing business. There's no surprises what we're doing from day one. If you don't like what we're getting, you feel like it's not fair, let's have the conversation now because it's not going to change. Now there are changes that happen sometimes completely change the scope of the work. There are change orders, customers agree on those kind of things. So there are price fluctuations in all three of those models. But the way those price increases or decreases are shown to the customer and they're transparent is very different in each one of those models. So that's one of the keys. Transparency is very different in each one of those models, good or bad. I could really argue all three of those models for certain reasons, but we have the one that we think is the easiest for us, the most transparent, and easiest for us to stand behind. So,
yeah, really good. And so if you look at the most accurate price estimate, let's say like all the way where you're ready to build, you have all the specs and everything, are there levels that kind of get people an idea, that get them closer to the most accurate? I mean, that takes some time to come up with and get all the bids in and all of that, right? To get them, well, let's just start there actually. What all is involved in getting the most accurate estimate for a price to build a home?
There are definitely levels to get to really detailed accuracy. We work with the people who are actually going to be putting the materials and the things together. We work with the actual suppliers who are going to supply those materials. We work with the insurance company that's going to provide the insurance, and even the porta potty guy who's going to provide a porta potty for the job site. I mean, we're down to that kind of detail when it comes to like, hey, we're ready to get an actual detailed cost of this house. Before that, there are steps that we can take to make sure that Mr. and Ms. Johnson aren't going down a path that's going to cost them something $200,000 more than what they want to spend. We're trying to get them before they get to that point, and we spend a bunch of time. Like, hey, are we on the same page here? And even before that, they can really come in and say, hey, we want something that's 3,000 square foot and about this size kind of thing, and we want to build it for $300,000. And I can say, whoa, that's not going to work. Mm-hmm. You're $150,000 off. We can have that conversation within a few minutes. We can have the conversation of, hey, we're in the ballpark within a little bit of time, and then we can put that detail together when they're ready to say, hey, we're on the same page here.
Yeah, that's great. It seems like those levels of kind of more granularity, more accurate, more precise estimate is really the way to go, because it helps people get a quick answer and then adjust their plan as they need to go, and then
Absolutely.
Get better to like, okay, this is how much it's going to cost us.
Yep.
Cool. It's a great
Yep.
solution.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for talking that through with us.
Yes. Yes. Good stuff. It's very important. It's a big stress point for a lot of people when it comes to the custom building world, and really any kind of building, even commercial and multifamily, that kind of stuff. If the pricing is not matching up and you get surprised along the way, nobody wants that. So we're trying to do things and put processes in place and systems in place all the time and perfect what we're doing to make it better, more transparent, more streamlined for all those involved, for our sake and the customer's sake. Yeah.
Cool. Sounds like the way to go.
Yes, sir.